Hi, today let's draw some cute playful elephants. I'm going to be using a Sharpie to draw them out directly. You could use a pencil to sketch them first and then do the outline using any waterproof marker or liner if you're going to use watercolors on them later. Otherwise, you can just use any sketch pen and fill in with crayons or oil pastels or any other medium of colors that you like. The first elephant that I'm drawing is very simple. It's basically boxy and I like to draw them directly. I would still recommend you to also do the same thing. Initially, you can just make it along with me in the same style and then start experimenting slowly with the proportions, with their style. Probably have Google eyes. Maybe you could have the trunk going up and down. It could be longer. Maybe you can have the legs longer. So you can play around with it a little bit. So in the second elephant that I'm drawing, I did the ears at a little bit of an angle instead of mirroring each other. So this way I'm able to give a little tilt to the face of the elephant. So you can make your elephants do any action by changing the angle of the legs as well, which I'm going to be doing right now, where it looks like one leg is on the ground and the other one is in the air, as if it's bouncing or trotting around playfully. For the last elephant, I want to show a ball bouncing on its trunk as if it's playing with it. I also want to make the eyes look as if it's looking upwards towards the ball. Like I've added a hat for my second elephant, you can add a lot of accessories for your different cartoons. You could add clothes, you could add a bow tie, you could show a small school bag, and a lot of different things that you can do with it. Just play around with your creativity, just be playful, have fun with your cartoons, and don't expect perfection. That is what will make your cartoons look beautiful. Now that our sketch is ready, I am going to paint in with using watercolors. If you're a beginner, then this video is perfect for you to learn how you can add a very thin layer of watercolor to your art without messing up the sheet or blotching it, or sometimes you would have noticed that your paper also tends to tear because of excess use of water. Watercolors are usually done on 300 GSM paper, which is thick enough to absorb the water and the many layers that you do on top of it. The sketchbook I'm using is only 180 GSM, which means it cannot take a lot of water. So what I do is I make sure that I don't add too much of water to my color, and at the same time I don't do a lot of layers. So for the color of the elephants, I have mixed a little bit of water with the color black, so I get like a light gray color. You can also add a little bit of brown to it or green to it to get like different shades. So mix your colors, play around with them, and see what is the third color that you can create by mixing two different colors. Sometimes when you're applying watercolors to your paper, you will notice that there's a lot of water in the brush, or there's a lot of water, the blobs that are falling on your paper. So it just means that your brush is holding too much of water. So just dab a little bit of this on your tissue and then go on to painting on top of your paper. So you will notice that it's much more easier to handle it. If you find it still difficult, I would recommend you to get like a very basic 300 GSM, either a sketchbook or watercolor sheets, which you get loose and separate, and then you can start experimenting on those sheets and then move on to difficult ones like this 180 GSM paper that I'm using. But I would still recommend you to not get worried too much if something happens to your artwork, because only by doing mistakes you're going to learn a lot of different new things. I've still managed to add a slightly darker grey as a shadow on my elephants. You can add this step if you want to, or you can completely skip it if it's not happening very well on your first try. That will happen if your paper is less than 300 GSM. I'm able to handle it on 180 GSM right now because of practice, but if you're a beginner and you do not have 300 GSM, then just stick to one particular layer and your artwork will still look brilliant. You can use these cute playful elephants in a lot of different ways. If you're making greeting cards, you can add one elephant inside, one on the outside, and one giving a small message at the back as well. You can create a lot of bookmarks with them. You can also add them on the front page of your sketchbooks if you don't know what to start with. I hope today's video was helpful for you, and if you're new here, do consider subscribing to my channel and hit the bell icon so you can get notified every time I put up a new video. Thank you so much for joining me today. See you soon for the next one. Bye bye.